to the sweet job. Welcome to the Vitamin M Suite with Carrie. Yeah, she give all the support to black entrepreneurs. Yeah, the Vitamin M.
Welcome back to the Vitamin M Suite, the chill spot where black excellence thrives. And this week is a bit special. It's called It Takes a Village. We're going to talk about getting back to that true sense of community, our community. So when we get back from the break, I'm going to introduce you to some very special ladies, and we're going to talk through this from teaching our babies to community initiatives to really bringing the village together and support one another. So I'll see you soon after the break. Welcome back. And before the break, I told you that this episode is all about it takes a village because we're getting back to the sense of community. You guys know that the mission statement for the Vitamin M Box is build our communities, support our businesses, and tell our story. So let's really dig into the building of our communities, starting with our babies. So before we dig into that, let me introduce you to our panel. Lakeithia Walker from Hearts of Education.
Yes.
Meka Diamond from Visible Evidence. And Melissa Lee West, Fit for Legacy. And Lakeithia, first of all, thank you, ladies. Y'all look beautiful. Y'all beautiful.
Thank you.
Okay.
So are you.
Thank you. So Lakeithia.
Yes, ma'am.
I wanted to bring you on, right?
Mm-hmm.
So let's bring it back a little bit. So when my son was about 2 or 3, I watched this documentary. I can't remember. I must have blocked it out because I was traumatized. I watched this documentary, and they were talking about this school in Jacksonville, Florida, right? And in this documentary, celebrities were going to different towns, touching on certain social injustices, not just black community, just in general. And one was about this school in Jackson, Florida, that had this astronomical rate of black males, adolescents with records. So they did some investigating, and they found out that in this elementary school, for example, right? So you know, in elementary school, babies have tantrums, kids have tantrums, and this was an example. This kid that was in elementary, He was upset about something, and he kicked a trash can. They called the police, put that baby in handcuffs, took him to jail, didn't call his parents, fingerprinted him, so now he's in the system. Yeah. And that's the school to prison pipeline. That's how it gets started. But I was like, oh no, my baby's, we gonna figure out this homeschool thing. Because not only is he a black kid, he's big for his age. So I know if he can have the little bit of normal tantrums. They have tantrums. We have tantrums as adults.
Adults have tantrums.
Right? That they won't see him as an aggressor. I was like, James, he's homeschooled because I'm gonna go to jail. If I find out my baby has been fingerprinted and all of that. So Hearts of Education, I see you do a lot with homeschooling. And what I love about you and where our schools lack is really talking about the empowerment of Black history.
Right.
You don't start as slavery.
Right.
Because that's what you learn about in school.
That's what you learn about in school.
How is that empowering our kids, right? So Hearts of Education, I love, because we need to empower our kids, and that's where it begins.
Absolutely.
I really believe empowering our youth from the beginning. So let's talk about Hearts of Education and what you do.
So thank you. And I do remember that story.
Yes.
And one of the things, just side note, is parents, we have got to be actively involved in our students' schooling, in your child's student. I understand that you may be a working mom, working dad, so you're not going to be able to be the PTO, but when they have activities, show your face.
All the time.
If your child comes home and says anything, make a call, send an email, send a note.
Use a sick day to go visit.
To
if you
go
have
visit.
To use a sick day, go visit that school so they can meet you face to face.
Absolutely. Let them know that you are actively engaged and you want a parent, student, teacher tribe. Demand it.
Yep.
Okay, a lot of parents feel as though they're in the school system, so, well, I can't say this, I can't say this. These are your children.
You advocate for them.
And you advocate for them, and you teach them to advocate for themselves.
Yes,
So
I love that.
I've had my children sit down crisscross applesauce and tell them, call my mom.
Hello.
And then they say, well, you need to get up. I'm not getting up until you call my mom. So it's non-aggressive, it's not disrespectful, but she's not moving until you go call my mom, because whatever transpired, she knew she needed mommy there to advocate. And so that's one of the things I can say. And that's what we do at Hearts of Education. We bridge that gap because the empowerment comes, and once the empowerment comes, they take ownership of their learning. Once they take ownership of their own academics, growth is inevitable.
Yeah.
And not just academic growth, because everyone wants academics. I want good grades, I want good grades, I want my child to have good grades. But
how are they empowered?
Socially, social development is a major part of holistic development, not just cognitive development. So they can make straight A's, but have a huge deficit in socialization, which will then affect them and their life skills and the application of those concepts and those life skills as they grow.
Right.
So that's what we focus on, is meeting them where they are. I don't want you to think like me. I don't want you to regurgitate what I say.
Hello.
I don't want that.
Yeah, you have
so
to
thank
be
you
your
for
own
telling my answer, for telling me my answer again. I appreciate that.
Right.
It's great.
Right.
I want you to tell me what you think. Create your own neural path. And in public schools, a lot of times there's this
box.
Yes. And our babies don't fit in this box because we are kinesthetic learners. We don't have the same schema, which is the same background.
Right.
You know, and that doesn't necessarily mean anything bad. We just culturally process, develop, and execute differently. So no, I don't want you to learn in this box. I want you to learn how you learn. As long as you can show me this concept, that's all I want.
Right.
And I want you to be, you know, when you ask a child, well, why'd you get that answer? I don't know.
Yeah.
That does not work for Miss Walker. Yeah, baby, you're gonna have to. That's why I'm here. We're gonna sit down, and I'm gonna make you a critical thinker and a problem solver.
Right. Thank you so much, Lakeithia. And when we get back after the break, we're going to talk about community initiatives and also the Black Camp Out. We'll be right back after the break.
Join me at Collaborate.
Join me at Collaborate.
Join me at Collaborate.
Join me at Collaborate.
Join me and hundreds of women at Collaborate.
Welcome back. And before the break, Lakeithia Walker really explained how important it is for us. We say teach the babies all the time, but what does teach the babies mean, right? We have to empower them. We have to teach them how to be their own selves. Let them know that it's okay to call mommy and daddy if something is going down in the school.
Right.
And as parents, we have to be their advocates and be the face for them. And digging into community initiatives. Meka Diamond, I don't know when you sleep. Every day you got something going on, whether you're feeding Houston, whether, you're in the NAAC. Let's talk, let's start from the beginning. Okay, because what you're doing is empowering and it's beautiful.
Thank you.
It's beautiful.
Thank you. Well, it started when I was in elementary school, actually. A lot of people think that it started after my brother was killed in 2007, but when I was in elementary school, I made it the decision to not go to recess and go into the special education class and play with the kids, the students that didn't know how to speak, and they would do sign language and things, and I got a kick out of just seeing them smile, even though they couldn't understand what I was doing, or we may be doing patty cake or whatever the case may be, and then also pushing them around in wheelchairs around the schools during lunchtime. Yep. So it started.
You had that hard at that age?
At elementary school.
Bless you, baby.
Yep. I canceled recess. What child would cancel recess?
Right.
But so it started in elementary school. And then, of course, we had a family tragedy in 2007, and my brother was killed due to gang violence. And so I made a decision. I promised him that his name wasn't going to go in vain. And so I made it my business and to make sure that my feet was on the ground. I was digging in the trenches to make sure that families wouldn't have to experience what we experienced as a family. And then also helping kids understand that they don't have to be a part of a gang to feel like they are affiliated with a family. And just wanted to give them an outlet and talk to them. So that was the beginning initiative, and then, you know, the desire to make sure that everything that I did had my brother's name attached to it in a positive way was why I worked continuously so hard to make sure that I keep my feet on the ground.
And this is the first time I'm hearing about your brother. I did not even know that. So now I really see, you know, the reason and the purpose and passion behind that. So what are some community initiatives that you feel? I saw that you just recently got involved in NAACP.
Yes, I am the political chair for the NAACP.
Hello, political chair.
Brazoria County. Yes, I am. And how I got in the political realm was I ended up going to the Congressional Black Caucus in D.C. And wanting to make sure that I learned and was educated to change the narrative in our communities. I believe that we get out and we run with the trends, but we don't really know what we need to do educationally in order to change our communities, change our cities, change our states. And so going to the caucus made me more intrigued to find out more so I can bring it back to my own community and make sure that we are educated and change the narrative of, you know, just letting people hold a seat just because they've been there for a long time, but there's things that need to be done in the community. And then also get back to the village of communities, how we had them long time ago, like our grandparents, great-grandparents, making sure that we build relationships within our community and understand what's actually going on so
we can be there
we can
for
change,
each other.
and change the perspective of, you know, the saying is, if I tell that somebody broke in somebody's house, I'm known as a snitch. Well, if we don't let the outside come into our communities and change the narrative of the community by sticking together, then black on black crime will matter in our own culture and not just when somebody else from another race does something against us as a culture. And so that's what pushes me as well, making sure that I understand the things that are happening in communities and educate the young men and young women that they are the difference if they be educated. So we take children to the Congressional Black Caucus as well for them to be educated.
That's dope.
Major.
That's dope.
That's major.
Now, Melissa.
Yes, ma'am.
You had a trip.
I did.
Georgia.
I did.
Black camp out. The black
Yeah,
camp
the
out.
big black camp out.
The big, I mean, and the
Big
story behind
Black
it
camp
is
out, and you all
huge.
probably heard of Freedom, Georgia. So there's a real estate broker and her partner. I forget what her profession was, but they got together with 19 families and they bought 96 acres of land.
Wow.
In Georgia. So it was an unincorporated area, and we had a big black camp out Labor Day weekend. And I live in a multi-generational house. So my mom, my brother, my nephew, my husband, and another nephew in and out over the weekends. And I saw the ad and I said, let's go camping. I hate bugs. I hate them. I hate bugs, but the purpose was more important. And we went camping, and I slept outside for like 5 minutes. And then I got an Airbnb, but I did do 5 minutes. But my brothers and my nephew, to see them teach him some skills.
See, that's
and
beautiful.
it was amazing. And my mom always told us, you know, the threefold cord can't be broken. And I got to see the manifestation of what she put in us at that camp out. I got to see it, and I said, you know what, Mama, she doesn't have to do another thing. She poured everything into us, and so you saw that with everybody else at the big black camp out, doing the same with that families.
Listen, I'm
Same
jealous.
things.
I saw that. I wanted to go so bad.
Listen, but you know what's so funny? I really thought that she stayed out the whole weekend. I'm
know,
just
no,
realizing it was
no.
only 5 minutes.
But I slept outside 5 minutes. I went every day. But see, the excuse I used was my nephew had homework and he needed internet. So we had to get a house on a rental site.
Listen, I'm not even judging you because I don't do bugs
Listen.
outside, wilderness,
I tried. I did try though.
wild animals.
I laid down in the tent. I said I could do this.
Nope.
Then you said
Then your body said
No. My nephew needs to go.
right.
So when we get back from the break, we will give you their information and really talk about how we can move forward and do this collectively. So see you after a bit.
Join me at Collaborate.
Join me at Collaborate. Join me at Collaborate.
Join me at Collaborate.
Join me and hundreds of women at Collaborate.
Welcome back. And before the break, we heard Meka's story and why she's so heavily involved in the community. And then we heard about the big black campout. So ladies, if you can give one nugget that where it takes a village, where we can get back to the sense of community, what would that be? And also give your information.
Okay. It would be transformational teaching. That's what it would be. It would be transformational teaching. Teach, dedication, time, tenacity. And as Lakeithia Walker, heartsofeducation.com, and Hearts of Education on all social media platforms.
Thank you. Yes, I would say that Black Lives Matter. Let's change the narrative in our own culture as well. And my social media platform name is Meka Diamond or Visible Evidence.
My nugget is what it takes to build a village is worth any inconvenience that you could think of.
Hello.
My website for this topic is blackoutnow365.com. On social media, Melissa Lee West.
And also you can find me, Melissa, and Krishna on the Grits and Porridge podcast, where we are a social podcast talking about Black liberation. Ladies, thank you so much for joining me. This was special. This was special and it was powerful. And I really hope you guys left with something. So we'll be right back after the break. So I want to thank all of you for tuning in to this very special episode. It takes a village. I truly hope you left with something today, because we have to get back to that real sense of community. So I will see you next week on the Vitamin M Suite, the dose of melanin that's good for your soul.
Welcome to the sweet, y'all. Welcome to the sweet, y'all. Welcome to the Vitamin M Suite with Carrie. Yeah, she give all the support to Black entrepreneurs. Yeah, the Vitamin M, we inviting them in to what she created, much appreciated, and it can't be recreated. Black people got the keys to the locks now. We gon' make it. Get a taste of culture, embrace the face that's taking over, replacing Oprah. It's all black everything, everything. Get up, stand up, fight for your rights, but be a heavyweight. Yeah, and they gon' hate, but you let them hate, long as they don't cross them lines like the letter H. You just stay on your grind until you elevate. Then set a date with Carrie so she can tell it straight. Cause if it ain't real, they can tell it's fake. But this is black excellence, let's celebrate.
Vitamin E, experience.